Alright, how's it going, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking once more about that major upcoming winter storm that's going to bring many inches of snowfall to many different regions. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, when do you think our next big snowstorm is going to be after this one? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at about 1 p.m. on Saturday here on our European model. We have so much to go over in this video, so I'm going to fly through it as fast as possible. But we have a 997 millibar low pressure center down there in Oklahoma. As we move this forward towards about 11 p.m. there on Saturday, you can see that it is a 999 millibar low pressure center over Missouri, bringing moderate to heavy snowfall there to portions of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and even down through into the Appalachian Mountain Range as well. Let's move that towards about 11 a.m. there on Sunday, January 31st, and you can see it is making that transition into the eastern United States. Moderate to heavy snowfall still going on for the Ohio Valley and through even Virginia at this point, and even down into northeastern North Carolina. That is going to be very brief, and even if it does accumulate, there is going to be rain afterwards, so that is not going to stick around, but there could be some flakes flying, really pretty snow on Sunday, but that warm air is going to move in from the south afterwards. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on towards where this is going to become a nor'easter. It's going to transition into a completely different storm, and we're going to see the East Coast see very heavy snowfall in just a moment. Now, this is by time we're taking a look at maybe about 3 p.m. there on Sunday, January 31st. And as you can see, there is some moderate to heavy snowfall going on for Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, DC, Virginia, even the Delmarva there. That is, again, going to transition as that warmer air pushes further and further north. But let's just take this to about 11 a.m. there on Monday, and you can see that this has pretty much become a nor'easter by this point, and that warm air has moved north up the coast, as you can see. That's because we do have kind of low pressure spread around. There is still some low pressure sitting over West Virginia and Virginia. That's allowing for some of that warm air to work its way in, but once it fully transitions towards a nor'easter, that's when we will begin to see that cold air re-enter in. But for now, heavy snow for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Long Island, New York. And as you can see, as we move on towards about 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. there on Tuesday, February 2nd, you can tell that there is tons of heavy snowfall basically from eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, up into New England, including Boston there, as that 991 millibar low pressure center sits just offshore. Perfect location for a massive nor'easter to be for a big snowstorm. Now let's go ahead and move this on towards where this storm is it's getting closer to its end here, but we do still see that heavy snowfall going on for more northern regions now. This is kind of trending a little bit more inland with where people could see snowfall. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and take a look at that GFS model, and then we're going to move on to many more models after that. There's a lot of content still to come, so I hope you stay tuned. We'll be taking a look at that in just a moment. All right, now here we are taking a look at that GFS model, and it starts out the same exact way. Some moderate to heavy snowfall for the Ohio Valley and portions of the Midwest, even in through the Mid-Atlantic. And that's again, or I don't even think again, I don't think I've even said it yet, but about 3 a.m. on Sunday. And as you can see, by the time we reach about 3 p.m. on Sunday, we've seen most of that snowfall transition to the Mid-Atlantic. So let's go ahead and transfer over eastward with our view. And this is when it becomes a nor'easter. We're going to move a little bit quicker since they all kind of agree here. We don't need to take a look at every single frame here. But we do see that become a nor'easter, just like how the European model said. And we do see that snowfall going on from DC to Philadelphia to New York to Boston. Classic snowstorm. Let's take a look at that Canadian model. And as you can see, again, just the same exact thing. Heavy snowfall for the Ohio Valley, transferring over into the Mid-Atlantic by Sunday morning. But by the time we're reaching the afternoon hours, that warmer air moves up further north. We do see that heavy snowfall still for portions of northern Virginia, the Delmarva, and even up into DC and Maryland. By the time we reach about maybe 11 p.m. there on Monday, you can see very heavy snowfall for DC, Philadelphia, New York City there. And it's way further north on this one with where it takes that snowfall. A pretty massive snowstorm up there for portions of New England here on this model here. And like I said earlier, we're definitely seeing some trends that some more inland people definitely seeing some snowfall, so that's very interesting. Although out of all the models we've taken a look at, the Canadian model here is the most different from all of them. So this is the most outlier. We're going to take a look at one more that is much different than any of them. But outside of that, there is great agreement at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our high resolution models now, our RGEM and then our NAM 12KM. And then we're going to start talking about snowfall totals according to all of these models. And then my official snowfall forecast for this storm as well, which is updated a lot. All of that is coming up in just a moment. Now let's get started with that RGEM model, and this one is my absolute favorite model of all time. And as you can see, it's starting out the same way all of these models have started, with heavy snowfall going on for Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Let's just go ahead and take this and move it on towards where we're going to see mostly that transfer over to the Mid-Atlantic. The cool thing about this frame is this is right when it's transferring. You can't really tell where that storm is at this point. But by the time we reach about 24 hours later from that frame, at about, I would say this is approximately maybe 4 to 6 p.m., somewhere around dinner time there. And this is when we see that full-blown nor'easter taking place. And again, a lot of snowfall going on from DC up through Philadelphia to New York City there in that corridor. A lot of these models have that area seeing the most snowfall, although a lot of them have it further inland as well. So we will take a look at that on my snowfall forecast in just a moment. But this becomes a full-blown nor'easter by the time we're reaching maybe the morning or noontime hours of Tuesday, February 2nd. Where we're seeing snowfall as far south as eastern North Carolina. I am eyeballing the chance for some of those more southern regions to see accumulating snowfall on the back end of this snowstorm as well. So we are watching for just an East Coast snowstorm overall to close out the storm. It depends how heavy that snowfall can come down and how much rain has fallen before it, how wet is the ground really. But we are eyeballing the chance of that. Now for our NAM 12KM, starts out the same way. Snowstorm again for the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. We see it kind of beginning to transfer here by about 11 a.m. there on Sunday. But by the time we reach about 2 p.m. on Sunday, you could tell that there is a big difference with this model. And definitely by the time we're taking a look at about 1 p.m. there on Monday, February 1st, this is much further north with that rain snow line than any of the other models. Mostly upstate New York, northern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and even some of those areas switch over to rain by the time we're reaching the tail end of this storm at 2 a.m. on Tuesday. You can see nowhere near southern Virginia or eastern North Carolina is getting snowfall by this point. Just a much further north snowstorm here by about 1 p.m. on Tuesday. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the total snowfall maps according to all of these models, and then we're going to get into my official snowfall forecast. All of those things are coming up in just a moment. Now, starting things out with our European model, and that's the one we started out with on that simulated radar. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're taking a look at about a dusting to 2 inches of snow, if anything. In the blues, we're taking a look at about 2 to 6 inches of snow. In those purple shades, we're taking a look at about 6 to 10 inches of snow. And within those pink shades, we're taking a look at about 10 to 20 inches of snow. In those teal shades, that's where it's picking up on close or if not above 20 inches of snow. So for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, even up there in New Hampshire and Maine, that's a little bit of a new feature. So I'm a little bit less confident in that than I am with the more southern areas. Again, I'll talk a little bit about that on my snowfall forecast. Let's just take it to that GFS model. And as you can see, there is some differences, but the agreement is really good at this point. It does have 24 inches plus there for south central Pennsylvania. So that is a little bit more extreme than the European model. But overall, this is a very similar outlook, and I'm liking this agreement. It's making me feel more confident. The Canadian model takes this just to the next level. And to be honest, the Canadian model is probably the worst out of the three we've just shown. But this one is showing close to 50 inches of snow there just to the west of Philadelphia. Very extreme situation according to this model. I'm very doubtful anything like that will happen. Obviously, that would be record-breaking amounts of snow there. But we will have to wait and see, I guess. Maybe it's possible. The RGEM model certainly agrees because the RGEM and the Canadian model do have a relationship there, as those are both of the Canadian models, the low resolution and then the high resolution Canadian model there. This one has it more over Philadelphia, so I would translate that to a more realistic 2 feet number. I mean, that's more realistic than 50 inches, obviously. But yeah, so that's having the heaviest snowfall around Philadelphia. According to that model, that could obviously shift pretty pretty massively. And then the NAM 12KM model, remember this one was much further north than the rest, and it is showing here on the snowfall forecast that is much further north, mostly northeastern Pennsylvania, and then upstate and western New York, they're seeing the most snowfall, as well as northern New Jersey. This kind of looks like our middle December snowstorm here on this model. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Now here's our European ensemble model. I just wanted to show you how much agreement we have here. This is the European ensemble model's outlook. Now take a mental note of this and let's move on to that GFS ensemble model. And you can see there's great agreement with the location. There is some differences, but you like to see them showing almost the same exact thing there. Very, very good to see that happening. We're feeling quite confident. Let's get into that snowfall forecast now. If you're anywhere in this white, you're taking a look at about a dusting to 3 inches of snow. If you're anywhere in this lighter blue, you're taking a look at about 3 to 6 inches of snow. And then if you're anywhere in this dark blue, you're taking a look at about 6 to 10 inches of snow. So you can tell the motion of this storm. And then if you're anywhere in this purple or magenta shade, you're taking a look at about 10 to 15 inches of snow. So DC is in there, Baltimore is in there, Philadelphia is in there, New York City is in there, and Boston. And then if you're in this brighter pink, that's where I think the bullseye should set up. That's where you're at about 15 to 20 inches of snow. This could still trend a little bit south or north. It could move around a bit, but I generally feel quite confident in that. Speaking of my confidence, let's take a look at that confidence tab. And I have moved from a 4 to a 5. I was almost going with a 6, but I feel like there could be some last minute tweaks north or south. So I want to stick with a 5 just because there is that chance that we do see some sort of shift south or north. We're going to be watching for that closely, obviously. So we're at a 5 for now. I feel quite confident in this, but I will likely be updating the eastern half of this storm tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that video, as we will have updated information for that. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, where do you think the heaviest snowfall will be? And FMP said, I think southern New England will see the most snowfall. And I actually agree. I think somewhere either in northern New Jersey there or portions of New England will see the most snowfall with this snowstorm. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Tao, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Balemo, Adam S., Larry Lepan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalesa, Michael Buell, Terry Curtis, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Sidney Klein, Alicia Davis, Mark J., Luke Falago, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be on this Patreon end screen of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I'll see you guys in the next video.